The rain was relentless that night, hammering against the windshield like it wanted to break through. I remember the headlights of the oncoming truck blinding me for a split second before metal twisted and glass shattered. Then, nothing. Just darkness. Until I opened my eyes again and saw the same ceiling fan spinning lazily above my bed. The same soft morning light filtering through the white curtains. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Same date. 6 months earlier. Same notification, Stanford University. Full scholarship confirmed. My heart slammed against my ribs. This wasn't a dream. I was back. I sat up slowly, every muscle tense, as if the accident still echoed in my bones. On the lock screen was the photo Ethan had set as my wallpaper last week, us at the beach, his arm around my waist. Both of us laughing like nothing could ever touch us. His blue eyes looked so honest in that picture. I stared at it until the smile felt like a lie carved into my skin. Then I swiped it away. The phone buzzed again. A text from Ethan. Morning, beautiful. Dinner tonight. I have a surprise. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. In the life that just ended, I had answered with heart emojis and excitement. Tonight's surprise had been an engagement ring, a candlelit restaurant, and the beginning of the end. I typed instead, we need to talk. It's over. Sent. No explanation. I blocked his number before the 3 dots could appear. I stood in front of the mirror, brushing my dark hair back, watching my own eyes older now, colder. The girl who had trusted Ethan Cole with everything was dead. She died screaming his name as flames licked the car. This version of me knew better. Downstairs, Mom was making coffee. She looked up, smiling. Big day. Honey, Stanford called again to congratulate you. I nodded, forcing a smile. Dad was already at the table reading the business section, worried about the company he'd built from nothing. The company Ethan and Sophia had planned to strip from us after I was gone. My phone lit up with a new number. Ethan. Of course he'd call from somewhere else. I let it ring until voicemail caught it. Then the message. Anna. What the hell? Call me back, now. I deleted it. By noon, he was at my door. I watched from the upstairs window as his black Audi pulled into the driveway. He stepped out in the same navy blazer he wore the night he proposed. Perfect hair, perfect posture, the kind of handsome that made people trust him instantly. He rang the bell 3 times. Mom opened the door, confused. Ethan, Anna didn't mention you were coming. Is she here? His voice carried that calm urgency he was so good at. We had a misunderstanding. I just need 5 minutes. Mom glanced up the stairs at me. I shook my head. She turned back to him. I'm sorry, sweetheart. She's not feeling well. The door closed softly. I heard his car idle for another minute before he drove away. That evening, I went to the cafe where we used to study together. Neutral ground. I ordered an iced latte and sat by the window. He found me anyway. Walked in like he owned the place, spotted me, and came straight over. The barista smiled at him, she always did. Everyone did. Anna, he pulled out the chair opposite me without asking, what's going on? I looked at him across the small table. Same sharp jaw, same dimple when he tried to smile. But now I saw the calculation behind it. I said it's over. I answered quietly. I meant it. His brow creased genuine confusion or practiced. I couldn't tell anymore. Because of one text, baby. Talk to me. Whatever I did, I'll fix it. You can't fix this. He reached for my hand. I pulled back. His eyes flickered with something anger, maybe fear. You're scaring me. We've been together 4 years. You don't just end us over nothing. It's not nothing. I kept my voice steady. I know about Sophia. The name hit him like a slap. His shoulders stiffened. For a second, the mask slipped and I saw raw panic. Then it was gone. He laughed softly, shaking his head. Sophia. My cousin Anna. Come on. She's been staying with me because her mom's sick. You know that. Cousin, I repeated. The word tasted like poison. Right. He leaned in, lowering his voice. You've been under a lot of stress with finals in Stanford. Maybe you're reading things wrong. Let's go home and talk properly. I am home. I stood, leaving the latte untouched. Don't follow me. Outside, the air felt cleaner. I walked fast, not looking back. My phone vibrated nonstop, new numbers, new messages. I turned it off. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the truck, the fire. I saw Ethan holding Sophia the day of my funeral, his arm around her while he told reporters how devastated he was. I saw the transfer records millions from Dad's company moved quietly into offshore accounts they controlled. I got up and opened my laptop, started searching. Not the careless scrolling of my past life. This time I was methodical, saved everything. Screenshots, timestamps, anything that might matter later. 2 days later, the first article appeared online. A gossip site with a blurry photo of me leaving the cafe alone. Ethan watching from the doorway, looking heartbroken. Headline: Stanford bound heiress. Dumps fiancé days before proposal, sources say paranoia and jealousy to blame. Comments poured in fast. People I knew from high school liking and sharing. Old friends texting, everything okay, followed by heart emojis that felt like knives. Ethan played his part perfectly. Posted a black and white throwback photo of us on Instagram with the caption, "Some things hurt more than others. Still hoping we can work it out." Thousands of likes, hundreds of comments calling me cruel, unstable, ungrateful. Sophia commented too, a single crying emoji and sending love. I didn't respond publicly. Instead, I went to the office with Dad. He was pale, tired. The cancer already eating at him, though he hadn't told me yet in this life. I hugged him longer than usual. He laughed it off. "What's with the clinginess, kiddo?" "Just love you," I said. At lunch, Ethan was waiting outside the building. He looked like he hadn't slept hair messy, eyes red. Good. Let him feel a fraction of it. "Anna, please." He stepped in front of me on the sidewalk. 5 minutes, that's all. I stopped. People streamed around us, here. He nodded. "I can't do this over text, you won't answer." I folded my arms. Talk. He glanced around, then quieter. "I don't know what you think you know about Sophia, but it's not what you imagine. She's family. She's going through hell right now. I'm helping her the way I'd help you." "You're sleeping with her." His face drained of color. "Who told you that?" "No one had to tell me. I saw the messages last time. I caught myself, almost slipped. I saw enough." He recovered fast. "You went through my phone." "You left it unlocked on the kitchen counter. Hard not to notice when her name pops up every 5 minutes calling you baby." He exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "Okay. Yes, we got too close. It was a mistake. I was weak and she was there, and you were always busy with school and your dad's company. So it's my fault." "No, God, no. I'm saying I screwed up. But it's over with her. I ended it the second you sent that text. I love you. Anna. Only you." I searched his face for the lie and found it shimmering just beneath the surface. In my past life, these exact words had pulled me back in. I'd forgiven him, married him, died for him. This time I felt nothing but cold clarity. "You're good at this," I said, "really good." "Anna." "I have a meeting." I stepped around him. He grabbed my wrist, not hard, just enough to stop me. "If you walk away now, you're throwing away everything we built." I looked down at his hand until he let go. "We didn't build anything." "Ethan, you just made me think we did." That night, Sophia called from a private number. Her voice was soft, trembling. "Anna, I feel awful about all this. Whatever Ethan did, it wasn't serious. Please don't hate him. He's destroying himself over you." I let her talk. Every word was scripted, meant to make me doubt myself. When she finished, I said, "Tell him to stop sending flowers to my house, and tell yourself to stay away from my family's company." Silence. Then a small, sharp intake of breath. "I don't know what you..." "Good night, Sophia." I hung up and opened the encrypted folder I'd started, added the call recording, added the bank statements I'd pulled using Dad's login transfers that hadn't happened yet in this timeline, but soon would if I didn't stop them. The next morning, a bigger article dropped. This one had quotes from sources close to the couple. I was painted as unstable, controlling, possibly using drugs to cope with academic pressure. Ethan refused to comment. But his mother gave a tearful interview about how worried they all were for me. My phone exploded with concerned texts from people who'd ignored me for years. I turned it off and drove to campus early, sat in the library until closing. When I came out, Ethan was leaning against my car. "This has to stop," I said before he could speak. "I agree." He straightened. "The stories, the rumors, I didn't start them, I swear. But you didn't stop them either. I didn't know how without making it worse." He stepped closer. "Come home with me tonight. Let me show you the truth. No phones, no interruptions, just us." I almost laughed. In my first life, that was exactly how he'd convinced me: quiet apartment, wine, slow apologies until I melted. Then the ring, then the slow takeover. "No," I said. His jaw tightened. "You're making a mistake." "Maybe, but it'll be mine." I got in the car and locked the doors. He stood there watching as I pulled away, hands in his pockets, looking every bit the heartbroken hero the internet wanted him to be. That night, I received an anonymous email. No subject, just 3 photos attached: Ethan and Sophia in bed together, timestamps from last month, and a single line of text. "They're planning to take everything after you're married. Be careful." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I saved everything to the folder. The cracks were spreading, and I was finally ready to watch the whole facade come down. The anonymous email kept me up all night. Those photos of Ethan and Sophia weren't just proof of betrayal. They were timestamps of a plan already in motion. One image showed Ethan signing documents at his office desk, Sophia leaning over his shoulder, her hand on his neck. The file name on the screen was visible: Harper Equity Transfer Draft. My family's company, Dad's life's work. I saved everything to an encrypted drive, then started digging deeper. I used the credentials Dad had given me for emergency access to the company server. Nothing overt yet, no major transfers, but small anomalies were there if you knew where to look. Consulting fees to shell companies, invoices that didn't match projects, all routed through an account Sophia had signature authority on. I needed more. I drove to Dad's office early, told his assistant I was surprising him with breakfast. He was on a call when I walked in, but he waved me over with a tired smile. The strain was starting to show, cheeks hollow, eyes shadowed. He hadn't told me about the cancer yet in this timeline, but I knew it was coming. I set the coffee down and casually asked about the new advisory contract with Cole Enterprises. His brow furrowed. "How did you hear about that?" I shrugged. "Overheard you on the phone last week." He sighed. "Ethan's firm is helping us restructure debt. Good terms. He insisted on handling it personally for family." Family. The word burned. That night, Ethan invited us all to dinner at his parents' house. "Clear the air," he said in the voicemail. "Your parents miss you. So do mine." I almost declined. But this was the opening I needed. Face to face, in their territory, where guards were down. I wore the navy dress he used to love, hair down, makeup soft. Let him think I was softening. The Cole house was all glass and marble, lit like a showroom. Ethan's mother greeted me with air kisses and sympathetic eyes. "We've been so worried." "Darling." His father clapped me on the shoulder like nothing was wrong. Sophia was there too. Of course, playing the concerned cousin in a pale pink sweater, eyes red as if she'd been crying. Dinner was served in the formal dining room long table. Crystal glasses, forced laughter. Dad talked business with Mr. Cole. Mom asked Sophia about her mother's health. Ethan sat beside me, hand brushing my knee under the table. I let it stay there. Conversation drifted to the wedding that wasn't happening. Ethan's mother sighed dramatically. "Such a shame. We were all so excited." Sophia dabbed her eyes. "I just want everyone to be happy." I smiled politely, then set my fork down. "Actually, I have a question." All eyes turned to me. I looked straight at Ethan. "When did you plan to tell my father you're transferring controlling shares of Harper Holdings to your company after the merger?" The room went silent. Dad's face paled. Ethan laughed, but it came out strained. "Anna, what are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshot of the draft document, and slid it across the table to Dad. Page 7, Clause 14. Contingent on my marriage to Ethan. Voting rights shift to Cole Enterprises in the event of Dad's incapacity. Dad's hand trembled as he took the phone. Mr. Cole reached for it, but Dad pulled back. This is real. Ethan's voice was ice. It's a misunderstanding. That was an early draft. Protective language, nothing more. Sophia jumped in, voice shaking. Anna, you're upset. We get it. But accusing us like this? I turned to her. Then explained the offshore account in your name that received the first consulting payment last month. I played the short recording I'd pulled from the server logs, her voice on a call with a banker, confirming wire instructions. Her face drained of color. Ethan stood so fast his chair scraped loudly. Enough! Anna, outside, now. We stepped onto the terrace. City lights glittered below. He grabbed my arm, fingers digging in. Where did you get that? I pulled free. Doesn't matter. It's over. Ethan, all of it. His eyes were wild. You think you can humiliate me in front of my family? Destroy everything we've built? Laughed softly. You mean what you planned to steal? He stepped closer, voice low and venomous. You have no idea what you're throwing away. Your dad's company is drowning. I'm the only one keeping it afloat. By planning to take it after he dies. The words hung between us. His jaw clenched. For a moment, I thought he'd hit me. Instead, he whispered, You're going to regret this. I went back inside, collected my parents, and left. In the car, Dad was silent, staring at the phone. Mom kept asking what was happening. When we got home, he went straight to his office and locked the door. An hour later, I heard the ambulance. Heart attack. Stress-induced. The doctor said. I sat in the hospital waiting room while they stabilized him. Guilt crushing my chest. Had I pushed too hard, too fast? If he died now, would I have killed him myself trying to save him? Sophia texted from an unknown number. This is on you. He'll never forgive you. Then Ethan. Come to the hospital. We need to talk. For your dad. I almost believed he cared. Instead, I stayed in the hallway outside Dad's room, watching the monitors beep steadily. Ryan texted me he was a law student I'd known casually in high school, now interning at a firm downtown. Heard about your dad. Anything I can do? I stared at the message a long time, then typed back. Actually, yes, I need help reading some contracts. Dad came home after 4 days, weak but alive. Doctors ordered rest, no stress. I moved back in to help Mom. Ethan tried flowers, calls, showing up at the gate until security turned him away. The gossip sites went quiet for a week, then exploded again this time, claiming I'd fabricated evidence out of spite, that I'd hacked Ethan's computer. Sophia gave an interview. Tearful and soft-spoken, I just hope Anna gets the help she needs. Comments called me unhinged, dangerous, a disgrace to my family. I didn't fight back online, I worked. Ryan came over most evenings, spreading documents across the kitchen table after Mom went to bed. He was quiet, methodical, the opposite of Ethan's flash. Together, we traced every transfer, every signature. 3 solid pieces of evidence emerged: bank records showing Sophia siphoning funds, hotel security footage of her using Ethan's keycard on nights he claimed to be with me, and most damning, Ethan's medical file. He'd been diagnosed with early-stage lymphoma 6 months ago, hidden from everyone. The merger wasn't just greed, it was desperation. He needed Dad's company resources for experimental treatment only money and connections could buy. Ryan looked up from the papers one night. This changes things. If you go public, you destroy him completely. He's sick. Anna? I stared at the diagnosis page. In my first life, he'd never told me. He'd let me die thinking he was healthy, perfect. Now the knowledge felt like poison and pity mixed. He was going to let my father die. I said, he was going to let me marry him knowing he planned to take everything after. Ryan nodded slowly. Your call. I chose the charity gala. Ethan's firm was hosting black tie, full media, perfect stage. I got invited as a guest speaker for youth entrepreneurship. Ironic given my Stanford scholarship. The ballroom was packed with donors, cameras, champagne. I wore black, hair pinned up, no jewelry. Ethan saw me from across the room and froze mid-conversation. Sophia was on his arm, radiant in gold. I took the stage after dessert, microphone in hand, smile calm. Thank you for having me tonight. I want to talk about trust, how fragile it is in business and in life. The room quieted. I clicked the remote. Behind me, the screen lit up with the first slide, the equity transfer draft. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I walked them through it slowly, dates, signatures, offshore accounts, then the hotel footage, then the bank transfers. Every slide timed, irrefutable. When Ethan's medical records appeared redacted just enough to protect privacy, but clear on the diagnosis, the room went dead silent. He stormed the stage, face twisted. This is private. You have no right. Security moved in, but I raised a hand. Let him speak. The cameras loved it. Ethan grabbed the mic from my hand. She's lying. All of this is forged. She's unstable. His voice cracked. Sophia tried to pull him back, whispering urgently. I took the mic back gently. One more thing. I played the recording, Ethan's voice. Drunk one night to Sophia. Once we're married and her old man's gone, the treatment's covered, she'll never suspect until it's too late. The ballroom erupted. Flashes popped like gunfire. Ethan lunged toward me, eyes blazing. You'll regret this. Ryan appeared from the wings with 2 officers who'd been waiting off stage. Cuffs clicked. Sophia screamed as they took her too for fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. Reporters shouted questions. I stepped off the stage while chaos swirled, walked straight past Ethan without looking at him. Outside, the night air was cold. Ryan caught up. You okay? I nodded, though my hands were shaking. It's done. But as we drove away, I got the text from an unknown number, a sonogram image, dated 4 months before the accident in my first life. Caption, you took everything from me. Now you know what you lost. A baby. Our baby. The one I never knew about because I died too soon. I stared at the screen until the tears came. Revenge tasted like ash. The sonogram image stayed on my phone screen for hours. A tiny bean-shaped shadow with a fluttering dot that had once been a heartbeat. Mine and Ethan's. Something I never knew existed in the first life because the accident took it with me. I sat on the bathroom floor, back against the cold tile, tears falling silently until Mom knocked softly and asked if I was okay. I deleted the photo, but the knowledge burrowed deep, a fresh wound on top of the old ones. Ryan found me in the kitchen the next morning, staring at black coffee. He didn't ask what was wrong. He just poured himself a cup and sat across from me. The police have everything, he said quietly. Charges are filed. It's out of our hands now. I nodded, but my voice came out rough. He sent me something last night. Proof I was pregnant before the crash. The one he caused. Ryan's face tightened. He reached across the table but stopped short of touching my hand. I'm sorry. Anna? I shook my head. Don't be. It's just... I thought revenge would feel clean. It doesn't. Dad recovered slowly. The company stabilized once the fraudulent contracts were voided. Board members who'd been quietly siding with Ethan suddenly remembered their loyalty. Offers rolled in, investors, partnerships, speaking invitations. My name was everywhere, the young heiress who exposed corporate fraud, the woman who refused to be silenced. Podcasts wanted interviews. Magazines wanted profiles. I turned most of them down. One afternoon, I drove to the hospital where Ethan was being treated under guard. The lymphoma had progressed faster than expected. Chemotherapy while awaiting trial. I told myself I only wanted to see if he was suffering enough. A guard led me to the secure ward. Ethan lay in bed, thinner, skin gray against the white sheets, IV lines snaking into his arm. When he saw me, his eyes widened, then filled with something I couldn't name. Hope, maybe, or desperation. Anna, his voice was hoarse. You came. I stayed by the door, arms folded. Don't read into it. He tried to sit up, winced. I didn't know about the baby, I swear. Sophia told me after the accident. She said it was better you never knew. I felt the rage rise, hot and sudden. Better for who? He looked away. For me. I was scared. The treatment was expensive. The merger was supposed to save you. I finished, at the cost of my family, my life, our child. Tears slid down his cheeks. I was wrong. About everything. I thought if I had enough money, enough time, I could fix what was breaking inside me. But I broke everything else instead. He reached a trembling hand toward me. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to hear it from me. I'm sorry. The apology hung in the sterile air. For a moment, I saw the boy I'd fallen in love with years ago, scared, flawed, human. I felt the pull to sit beside him, to hold that hand one last time. Then I remembered the flames, the transfer documents, the sonogram. I stepped back. Goodbye. Ethan. Outside the hospital, the sky was clear, winter sun sharp and cold. Ryan was waiting in the parking lot, leaning against his car. He didn't ask how it went. He just opened the passenger door for me. We drove in silence until I said, I almost forgave him. Ryan glanced over. But you didn't. No. And I hate that I even considered it. He pulled into a quiet lookout over the city. You're allowed to feel more than one thing. Anna, anger and pity can coexist. Doesn't make you weak. I looked at him then. Really looked. Steady eyes, calm presence, no performance. Thank you, I said. He smiled, small and genuine. Any time. Weeks turned into months. I started the Harper Foundation grants for women rebuilding after financial or emotional abuse. The first event was small, held in our garden. Survivors spoke. Donors listened. Media covered it without sensationalism for once. Public opinion had flipped completely. Ethan and Sophia became cautionary tales, while I became the symbol of resilience they once tried to destroy. I hated the pedestal, but I used it. Sophia took a plea deal, testified against Ethan in exchange for reduced charges. Her mask cracked on the stand tears. Excuses about a childhood spent being passed between relatives, always feeling disposable. The jury didn't care. Fraud was fraud. Ethan's trial lasted longer. His illness bought sympathy from some, but the evidence was ironclad. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was delayed for medical reasons. One night, Ryan brought takeout and case files to review. We worked until midnight, then sat on the porch with a bottle of wine. You're different now, he said. Stronger, I asked. He shook his head, clearer, like you finally know who you are without him. I leaned my head on his shoulder. It felt safe, natural. We didn't kiss that night. We didn't need to rush. Ethan was released to house arrest after 18 months when the cancer went into remission. The judge cited extraordinary circumstances. He sold what was left of his family's assets to pay restitution, moved into a small apartment downtown. No more Audi, no more tailored suits. Paparazzi lost interest quickly. Tragedy only sells when it's fresh. Sophia vanished after probation, new name, new state. Last I heard, she was waiting tables somewhere quiet. No one forwarded her apologies. Dad beat the cancer. The company thrived under new leadership mine. Eventually, I graduated Stanford summa cum laude, turned down Wall Street offers, came home to run Harper Holdings, My Way Ethical Investments. Employee-owned shares, the foundation as a core division. Ryan joined the legal team. We kept it professional in the office. But outside, we built something slow and real: weekend hikes, late-night talks, shared silences that never felt empty. One spring evening, we walked the riverside path where Ethan once proposed. The water was high, rushing over rocks. Ryan stopped under the same tree. I'm not great at speeches, he said, pulling a small box from his pocket. Inside was a simple ring, white gold, single diamond, nothing flashy. I love you, Anna. Not the story, not the headlines. You? Will you marry me? I laughed through tears. Yes. We kept the wedding small. Family, close friends, garden ceremony at home. Dad walked me down the aisle, eyes shining. Mom cried happy tears for the first time in years. Ryan's vows were short. I'll never ask you to be less than you are. Mine were shorter, I'll never stop choosing you. Years later, I saw Ethan once more. I was keynote speaker at a business ethics conference downtown. He was in the audience, older, thinner, hair gray early, security uniform, name tag reading volunteer coordinator. Our eyes met across the crowded hall. He looked down first. After the talk, he waited by the exit, hands in pockets. You were brilliant, he said quietly. No bitterness, just fact. Thank you. He hesitated. I'm glad you're happy. I studied him. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something resigned but not broken. Are you? I asked. He gave a small, sad smile. Getting there. One day at a time. We nodded at each other. Two strangers who once shared a life, and parted without another word. That night, I stood on our balcony overlooking the city lights. Ryan came up behind me, arms around my waist. Good day? He asked. The best, I said. I thought about the girl who died in fire and lies, the woman who clawed her way back for vengeance, and the one I'd become flawed, fierce, finally free. Karma hadn't been a thunderclap. It had been quiet, relentless, perfectly timed. Ethan lived with regret every day. Sophia carried her choices in silence. And I lived with joy I'd earned the hard way. The stars were bright above the skyline. I breathed in the cool air and felt, for the first time, truly at peace. The past was ash. The future was wide open. And whatever came next, I would meet it on my own terms.